The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Every year, the parents of Jesus used to go to Jerusalem for the feast of the Passover. When he was 12 years old, they went up for the feast as usual. When they were on their way home after the feast, the boy Jesus stayed behind in Jerusalem without his parents knowing it. They assumed he was with the caravan, and it was only after a day's journey that they went to look for him among their relations and acquaintances. When they failed to find him, they went back to Jerusalem looking for him everywhere. 3 days later, they found him in the temple, sitting among the doctors, listening to them and asking them questions. And all those who heard him were astounded at his intelligence and his replies. They were overcome when they saw him, and his mother said to him, "My child, why have you done this to us? See how worried your father and I have been looking for you." "Why were you looking for me?" he replied. "Did you not know that I must be busy with my father's affairs?" But they did not understand what he meant. He then went down with them and came to Nazareth and lived under their authority. His mother stored up all these things in her heart. And Jesus increased in wisdom, in stature, and in favor with God and man. The Gospel of the Lord. Today, as we said at the start, today the Church proposes to us as a model of a family, this family of Nazareth. This family who passed through so many hard and difficult times, as all the families do. But not only this, that we want to see the family, this Nazareth family as our family, but also to reflect on the meaning of what happened in this circumstance when Jesus lost himself. Jesus and Mary, both of them, were not yet aware of their mission. Jesus seems to have known much more than Mary did. In fact, when Mary and Joseph found him in the synagogue, he told them, "Why were you looking for him? Didn't you know that I have to be busy with my father's affairs?" And they didn't understand what he was talking about, because they considered him as a normal child, as all the others. But of course, Mary pondered these words until he grew up, and then he revealed himself. But so Jesus was both human and divine. But as a human being and as a child, he also wanted to discover the plan of God for him. On the other side, you appreciate also the distress and the moments of those days that both Joseph and Mary passed looking for a 12-year-old child, their child. Imagine yourself as parents if you had your children lost anywhere in the crowd and you don't find him for a day or two, even for hours sometimes. We panic, and rightly so. So this is the beginning of a distress of a family that started their life as a family. This is the first incident that we have, although we had an even more dramatic incident before this. When they had, after the birth of Christ, they had to flee away to Egypt from their own country. Today, I heard about Queen Elizabeth mentioning also Mary and Joseph in her speech of the last Christmas speech, as usual, annual Christmas speech. She's mentioned Mary and Joseph as refugees who ran away from their country because they were afraid that they will be persecuted, and compare them to the refugees of today that we see in our own country, in all Europe, and all the world. The same plight of incident, the same plight of life that they go through, as Mary and Joseph did. This is the kind of family that we look up to see how they live. And so, and so, and so, all through. Although we know so little of the childhood of Christ, even his young days, we are sure now that they had a normal family life as any Palestinian life in their time. And so they had their problems as any other family in their time. And they had to tackle. These were the greatest moments and tragic moments of their family life. The flight to Egypt, and also this one, when they lost him in the synagogue in Jerusalem. And I'm sure there were others that distressed him and made them sad because of the behavior of Jesus or someone else, or problems of sickness, which he also must have faced as a child. So I don't need to underline more on the humanity of this family and the divinity of them, and how we always need to look at them as much as possible to model our family lives on theirs. But today I want you, if Sean helps me with the screen, I want you to follow a set of family commandments which I put, especially for young families, bringing up their children. I know there are many of you here. And I just pinpoint 10 points, 10 commandments that we need to give to our children, young children, so that we don't lose the values that we ourselves have been brought up. It's so important. The world we know around us is full of violence, full of injustice in the world. But our world is not more violent or more aggressive or more unjust than the other world that lived before us. Because we are a humanity, one whole humanity. And so the history of humanity is full of these injustices and full of these human errors that the man does in his life. I remember once I mentioned this, but I do it again because it opens our eyes. Listen to this. Our young people today love luxury. They have bad manners, contempt for authority, disrespect for the elderly. Children nowadays are domineering. They contradict their parents, gobble their food, and tyrannize their teachers. And when you hear this, you see, yes, that's a true picture of our young people today. Instead, this was written by Socrates 399 years before Christ. So you can see that the word actually did not change much. We are there for the sake. After Socrates, Christ came. The family of Nazareth came, and they gave us a model of how to bring up our children. And I bring these points to your attention. Number one, believe in the power of prayer. We that believe, we that we have faith. It's very important that we keep believing in the power of prayer in all circumstances of life, both in bad moments and in good moments. Prayer has a lot of power in front of God. Number two, educate your children to sacrifice something for the poor. That's why even on Sundays I tell you, bring something for the poor through your children, so that we educate them. to think of the poor. Be a witness yourself to this by uniting your adult sacrifices to theirs. You also show your children that you want to make a sacrifice also for the poor. Number 3, spend at least 1 hour a week with your children, either playing or talking to them. This is very important. We are busy people, as everybody is. We are going from one work to the other. And so very often we don't find time for each other. So dedicate at least 1 hour for the family, whether it's a mother working or whether it's a father working. Number 4, try to participate in the holy sacrifice of the Eucharist or Mass on Sunday, together with your children. It's the greatest example you can give them. Make the Mass the focal point of your family life, as a source of joy and love for the whole week. Number 5, ask all the members of the family to make a commitment for a month in order to improve interpersonal relations. Like, for example, never to raise your voice, never to lose your temper in an argument, answer always politely to each other, forgive each other quickly, obey for love's sake. In an argument, make your point calmly and gently and move on. These are little examples that we can use in our family therapy. Number 6, control your expenses, keeping in mind not only your income, but also the poor of the world, and also the temptation to waste and bluff for appearance sake. Number 7, educate your children by giving reasons for the choice of your decisions. This is also important today. Number 8, do not leave many days without mentioning the name of Jesus that touches the heart. Use the Bible as often as possible. Number 9, be loyal and faithful to each other, while trying to underline the good and positive of each member of the family. And the last one, number 10, celebrate, enjoy and anniversaries, and create new opportunities for the family to be together. I think these 10, we might not follow them all, but if we try to keep them as much as possible, I think it would be a good model of also the family of Nazareth living today. Let's say the prayer now together. Jesus, look graciously upon our family here before you. May our home be a shrine of peace, purity, love, and faith. Protect and bless all of us, both absent and present, and be merciful to those departed. Mary, loving Mother of Jesus and our Mother, pray to Jesus for our family and for all the families of the world. Joseph, Holy Guardian of Jesus and Mary, assist us by your prayers in all the necessities of life.